If there's one thing that's always been kind of crazy to me, it's the fact that there have always been some kind of report with regards to UAPs or UFOs sighted over nuclear facilities, whether it be a nuclear power plant or whether it be somewhere where nuclear arms are stored. There is always some kind of, connection between the two. And it's always kind of baffled me, and I've always found that whole topic kind of intriguing because, well, why? A lot of people have speculated that it's because aliens don't want us to blow each other up, so they've disabled nuclear arms, which, tends to apparently happen. There have also been reports of nuclear missiles that were fired for testing purposes that have been disabled mid-flight. And there have been situations where a UFO has apparently appeared at an Air Force base or a military base of some capacity and has disabled a nuclear arm or a missile that is about 40 foot in the ground underneath a completely lead building, right? Which is absolutely mind-blowing. Because obviously we all know lead stops the nuclear radiation from seeping through. It's one of the safest things you can kind of store a nuclear arms in case it was to leak in some capacity, right? But there have always been these kinds of crazy things. But now, well, it's nothing new. This came out back in 2010, but again has recently resurfaced. It's a testimony from Lieutenant Colonel Dwynne Arneson, right, who apparently held a top secret SCI clearance that confirms that UFOs have disabled nuclear, devices in the past. Now, this isn't the first time that he's spoken about this, and he's now retired, right? But this is why he's kind of come forward. But Lieutenant Colonel Dwynne Arneson is a retired US Air Force officer who served for 26 years holding a top secret SCI/TK, which stands for Special Compartmented Information Tango Kilo Clearance. And he worked on computer systems as an analysis for Boeing, served as director for logistics at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and was cryptography, oh my god, I can't get that word out, cryptography, fuck, you know what I'm trying to say. Officer at Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany. And Arnerson is notable for his claims regarding UFO incidents, particularly in relation to the nuclear weapons facilities, which he discussed in context of UFO disclosure efforts. So there are some key places and events that he specifically spoke about. One was the Malmstrom Air Force Base incident of 1967. Another one was Spitsbergen in Norway, which was a UFO crash of 1962. And then there was some general UFO observations. But the one that Arnerson claims that were while stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana in 1967, and that's what he refers to in the clip that I'm about to show you. And he apparently received a highly classified message reporting that a metallic circular UFO was hovering near missile silos. During this incident, multiple Minuteman nuclear missiles reportedly went offline, rendering them temporarily inoperable. So this isn't the first time that we've heard about something like this happening. This has been well documented in terms of key events, right? But this event does align with similar claims by other former Air Force personnel, such as Captain Robert Salas, who reported a UFO-related shutdown of 10 nuclear warheads at Malmstrom in the same year. Arneson's role as a communications officer with high-level clearance lent credibility to his account as he had access to sensitive message traffic. Now, obviously, we're going to take a little look at the clip because the clip is, incredibly detailed. It's really interesting to listen to, and it sheds a lot of light on the situation with regards to the topic at hand. So let's take a little listen.
After graduating from college with degrees in physics and math, I entered the Air Force, got a commission, and served 26 years as a communication electronics officer in positions all over the world, including Vietnam. My highest clearance held was a top secret crypto special compartment information talent keyhole. For those that know clearances, you got to be almost squeaky clean to get that. Back in 1967, I was officer in charge of the communications center at the 28th Air Division in Great Falls, Montana. I was also the crypto custodian. I was a top secret control officer for the division, and I passed out nuclear launch authenticators. In March of that particular year, I can clearly recall a message coming through my communications center, which basically said what Bob has already talked about, that a UFO did in fact shut down several missile silos in Montana. Not being a missile type, I didn't know Oscar flight from Echo flight, so I couldn't relate to any of those details. But the fact was that missiles were shut down by them. Later on, in mid-70s, about 1975, I was commander of a radar site in Maine, which was adjacent to Loring Air Force Base. Periodically, my security cop and I met with the SAC security police. And on 2 occasions that I can recall distinctly, they told us that UFOs were seen over the nuclear weapons storage areas at Loring Air Force Base, which was a SAC bomber base, as some of you may well know. I don't know what the details were. I don't know if any nukes were damaged or deactivated. I never saw a report on that, so I really can't say. That is history. After retiring from the Air Force, I went to work for Boeing as a computer systems analyst. Bob didn't mention this, but one of my first supervisors at Boeing was Robert Kaminsky. He has since passed away. He was the engineer selected by Boeing to go out and investigate the UFOs, the missiles that were shut down. He living close by where I lived in Washington State. We got together frequently on Saturday to discuss UFOs and other topics. And he says, Arnie, those things were perfectly clean, and they did not go down by themselves. He then went on to say that halfway through the investigation, the Air Force sent Boeing a message which said, stop the investigation and do not, repeat, do not send us a report. He told me that personally on 2 or 3 different occasions, and no hesitation at all. In conclusion, I've studied UFOs for over 60 years, believe it or not, and I am convinced that somebody out there is trying to send us a message. If I knew who they were, I probably would not be here. Thanks for your time.
Really interesting testimony there. Now, obviously, this came from the Nukes, UFO and Nukes press conference back in 2010. It was specifically on the 27th of September 2010. It's a really interesting testimony, and what kind of adds a lot of leverage to this is the credentials that this man carried. Let's not forget, to get the credentials that he needed, like he said there, you have to be squeaky clean. And it's hard work to get those kinds of clearances. But he is a top secret / SCITK, which is a special compartmented information Tango Kilo clearance. That's some top secret shit right there. But let's talk about some other specific incidents that he also spoke about. So I mentioned that Spitsbergen in Norway, which apparently was a UFO crash of 1962. Now, while serving as a cryptography officer at Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany in 1962, Arnerson said that he received a classified message stating that a UFO had apparently crashed in Spitsbergen in Norway, and that a team of scientists was actually dispatched to investigate. And there is, unfortunately for this one, limited corroborating evidence for any kind of specific crash, which doesn't exactly come as a huge surprise, considering, you know, all of the crashes that we allegedly know of. And some have even questioned whether the location was accurately reported or if it refers to a known event. And the claim surfaced notably in the 2001 disclosure project led by Dr. Stephen Greer. So, what do you guys make of this, ultimately? It's a very interesting one, and I have always found the link between UAPs or UFOs and, you know, nuclear arms and nuclear facilities very interesting, because is it that, like, there's multiple theories to it. Is it that aliens or some kind of higher being is trying to stop us from blowing ourselves up? Is it, you know, like a prevention kind of thing? Is it the... I don't know. I can speculate all day long. who knows? What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments while you're down there. Jump to get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.